Okay, well, welcome to Sound Thoughts with Pastor Marvin McKenzie. Today it's September 30. Today I'm recording a little bit earlier than I normally would. And the reason for that is because my wife right now is at the Northwest Baptist Ladies Conference that is taking place at this moment at Bible Baptist Church here in Puyallup. She is being cautious, staying in my office or staying, having some distance and some separation from the other ladies that are there. A number of folks, I think, somewhere over 100 ladies from all over the Pacific Northwest are at the ladies' conference right now, and so my wife made a talk last night to welcome them in and to invite, to thank them for coming and open in prayer and to give a little bit of a testimony. I've recorded that and already put it on YouTube, so it's online already. Shared it on Facebook and Twitter as well. And so, praise the Lord for how she's doing. Chemotherapy is complete now. That was on Thursday. She finished chemotherapy. So we're not sure how long. What they've been doing is they give her the chemotherapy, and then it's a week for her body to overcome or to recover from from the effects of the chemotherapy. They give it to her again, and so now she's done. We'll see what happens in the coming week as she recovers and then recovers some more. Monday, we go in to get her fitted for radiology, and they're going to kind of make a mold of her body that she'll lay in every time they do the radiation to kind of, so they make sure they hit the same spot every single time when she's on the machine. So all of that is getting set up, and we have the radiation coming. But other than that, and the radiation doctor makes it sound like this won't be anything compared to what chemotherapy was like. That she endured the chemotherapy well. She'll probably handle this just fine. Said that most common side effect is usually a fatigue, but he said, the radiation doctor said, he doesn't believe the fatigue is caused by the radiation itself. He believes the fatigue is caused from the just day in and day out. You go in every single day, and that, every day for 25 days, you can't get it off your mind. You can't stop it. You can't let up for no time to rest with it. And he says he thinks that's what causes the fatigue. And so we'll see how that goes. And but anyway, that's all taking place. By the way, that that little video Anita did, I've got it, got the link. It'll be down in this description so that you can see that if you'd like to watch it a little bit later on. It's about 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes long, somewhere in that ballpark. Uh, talk about church tomorrow. We've got a guest speaker. The key speaker for the ladies' conference is Mrs. Janet Bigham, and her husband, Brother Dale Bigham, will be preaching tomorrow. And then also he'll be preaching all morning, all day tomorrow, Sunday morning, Sunday school, Sunday morning, Sunday evening. He'll also be preaching on Monday night at 7 o'clock. If you're in the area and you're able, sure like to invite you to come and hear him. He'll be a blessing. He is a joy to be around. What a Christian gentleman Brother Bigham is. And so encourage you to have a part in that if you absolutely can. Also, about tomorrow, Brother Bigham preaching. After the services are over, Anita is planning on kind of slipping out of the service when the invitation begins. And what she's been doing for the last 6 months is she's been going through chemotherapy. She comes to services, she slips out and goes and kind of hides herself in my office so that, to avoid the close contact with people. But at this point, they're saying that now that the chemotherapy is over, that she will begin to recover. Her immunities will begin to recover very quickly, and in the sense of within just a couple of weeks. So much so that I'll mention this a little bit later too. But the radiation clinic does not require masks at all. They're optional. If a person wants to wear them, of course they can, but they're not required at all because the immunity system is building back up so very quickly after this is over. And so what Anita plans on doing tomorrow is slipping out of the service. She's going to go out into the Tabernacle where we have usually have set up some refreshments and things after the service is over, and she'll go out into the Tabernacle, and there she'll be able to greet folks. I'm not positive if she's going to. Um, offer hugs yet. I'll leave that up to her, how she's feeling and so forth. And want to encourage folks, give her, show her some respect, give her some distance if she asks for it or indicates it some way. She may not say those words. She may not put her hands out and kind of stop you or anything. She may not do those things, but kind of try to keep an eye on her countenance, how she's looking, how she's feeling, and the things that she's saying in her body posture. And give her some distance if she needs it, and I'm sure if she feels like she can hug and whatever, she will. She'll let you know, and so kind of give her some space with that. All right. Thought I would share some things that I've got, like a shotgun. I'm thinking about it's like a shotgun shell blast of different events in the world today, some of them spiritual and some of them, political and things that are going on in this world. And so one of these days, maybe I'll learn how to share videos on my Sound Thoughts program. I don't know where all of this will go in the future. Right now, because of my responsibilities as a pastor, there's not a lot of time for me to learn more than I've already learned about how to do these videos, and may not be worth me learning anything more. I don't know if anyone will really catch on, if it's going to be something that people like or not. But just going to give it a shot and see how things go over the course of time. But so right now, instead of trying to show things up on the screen right there and all that kind of business, if you'll look in the description, if you'll look down there in the description, you're going to find all the links that I'm referring to, and all that. So I did see a really great clip from Eric Hovid. And I'll just tell you, Eric's dad, Kent, is not someone I would recommend. He has gone from an independent Baptist circle kind of to more of a radical, more of a mid-trib and kind of new IFB kind of situation. And I think he's a little bit off. I think actually Eric has distanced himself even from his dad. His dad went to prison, and I'm not, again, as Christians, sometimes we can be in prison for just the statement of our faith. And so, that's he went to prison actually because for tax evasion, and I don't necessarily, denigrate him for that. I think there's some things in our government that make it where a person where some passive resistance in some of those areas may be a right thing to do. But he has gone off on some doctrinal areas. Eric, on the other hand, has not, and still continues to put out content and material that has to do with creation science. And boy, I tell you what, I would encourage anyone. We as believers, I think it is incredibly important for us to stay up on creation science and be built up and bolstered in our faith as far as creation science, because we're getting bombarded in everything from television and news and education system, all of it, the science, and because science has become such a big deal recently. Science has become, we trust the science. Though none of the scientists agree on anything, one thing I know for sure is I don't trust the science anymore. Saw a little advertisement today. It's actually for some male deodorant, and a very expensive kind of posh stuff. And one of the comments, the guy said, works good, very expensive. And the doctor who's selling this stuff said, well, the science proves that my deodorant is better than what you can get at the store. And the fact that she says the science proves it probably tells me that it's useless junk, because science is about useless junk as it stands today. And anyway, so Eric Hovid, he's got a little clip that I thought was good on everything points to God. Everything points to God. That you're going to find that little link to that little clip down below. It's very short, and so it won't take you long to see that. Also, Brother Daniel Robb preached last Sunday night. Pastor Caleb was out of town preaching. Daniel Robb preached last Sunday night. And in his message, he quoted John Gill talking about the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment and was healed. He said that John Gill said it wasn't the touch of the garment that healed her, the physical touch. It was the act of faith that led her to reach out and touch. And got to thinking about it, that's exactly the case with salvation. The Bible says, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. But the act of calling is not what saves. That would be a work. It's not the act of calling that saves. What saves is the faith that motivates us to call out on the Lord for salvation. And so, made a video of that as well. And there's a link for that video down below. Saw that masking is in the news again right here in Pierce County. So what I saw, September 26th, Tacoma Pierce County made a new policy ramping up the masking when certain thresholds are passed. It looks to me like what they're doing is they're setting things in place so that whenever they choose, whenever they feel like it's necessary, they can just say, all right, masks are required again, and you're going to need to wear those masks. And I told you, maybe I'll mention it again in a few minutes, but we went into the radiologist the other day, and he had signs posted everywhere that said, the current policy provides that you do not have that masks are optional in this facility. And they were real big on that kind of thing. I'm thankful for an organization, or a medical organization that would make that statement. Masks are optional, and they certainly were optional. We saw no patients wearing masks. We saw none of the staff wearing masks in that place as well. But they're ramping up on that, and that's something to keep an eye on. We as believers ought to keep an eye on that and be in much prayer for our personal liberties. I believe in personal liberty. I also believe in liberty of worship, and I believe that this is an infringement upon our liberty, or can be an infringement upon our liberty of worship, just like it was in 2020. On to another shotgun shell, little BB in that shotgun shell. Target, I saw this week, has shut down. They're planning to shut down 2 of their stores in the Seattle area, and shutting them down, citing violence and safety concerns. Target, and a lot of those stores like Target and Walmart and those are taking a huge hit lately. The violence and the just absolute rampant shoplifting that's going on in those stores. And so because of the violence and the crime, they're going to close a couple of their stores down. I wonder if they're victim of their own policies. Their liberal, open policies seem to me seem to contribute to the trouble rather than aiding in it. Just not long ago, I was in a Walgreens, and someone shoplifted there. They just bag full of stuff, and they just walked out. And the clerk was, frustrated by it, but they said the policy is we can't do anything. We can't follow them. We can't do anything. We can't say anything. Just, we just legally policy. We've got to let them go. And I thought this was interesting. I read an article written about Costco. During all this time where Walmart, Target, and those stores are taking a huge inventory loss and a profit loss because of it, because of the shoplifting and the crime and those sorts of things, Costco has suffered no inventory loss, and they are posting gains in profit. And Costco has chosen to take measures, or at least not to implement measures that allow for such rampant shoplifting. They don't use the automatic scan and goes, and they have someone who checks receipts, and always have had, and they continue to just check receipts. You don't get out the door without showing them a receipt. Now listen, if they can have someone at the door checking receipts, there is no reason that Target can't, and there is no reason that Walmart can't, and there is no reason that Walgreens can't. They can do those sorts of things. Their policies forbid them, and it is their policies that's going to destroy their businesses, and that seem to be doing that right now. Another Christian article, another BB in a shotgun shell. I read an article in the Old Paths Journal called "Changing the Narrative." I've got a link down below for that. Changing the narrative. I just thought this was great. Sin always changes the narrative of 2 things. It always hurts others, and it always hurts what might have been. Good article. And then another link, there's a link for that down there. Another person I'd like to link to is Spencer Smith. He put out a little short video called "De-churching," and I think that's an interesting. Used to be not too long ago, the big word from the atheist, anti-Christian side was called deconstructing Christianity, and now they are calling it de-churching. And Spencer Smith has an article about that or video about that. You want to check it out. The link's down below. Um, I was thinking about Spencer Smith, his Third Adam series. So now it's got Third Adam 1, 2, 3, and 4 documentaries. They're an hour or to an hour and a half long, each one of them, and well done. They have a lot of kind of homemade. You can sort of tell that because of yeah, he does all of the narrative himself, and he comes on with a whiteboard from time to time. But he uses an awful lot of information, and it's moves really well. So they are all real interesting and well worth watching. Spencer Smith, I was thinking about him when I became a believer back in the 1970s. I was heavily influenced by Jack Chick, and Jack Chick has tracks that are still out and popular. But back in the 70s, he also published a number of comic book types that they look just like a comic book. They were a comic book only with very, very serious information. The content was incredibly serious, and I really was heavily influenced in my positions in concerning music, rock music, and worldly type music versus Christian music. Were heavily influenced by the things that I read in the Chick comics. Lots of doctrinal material concerning the Catholics and many others, many other topics like that that are controversial in nature, but they are important subjects. And then in that format of that comic, it made it where they were less offensive. You're getting some controversial material, but you're getting in kind of a less offensive manner. I think Spencer Smith might be on to that same thing, using videos, using YouTube and other kind of social media type videos, not short ones. He does his content ranges from everything from 5 or 10 minutes to pretty long things. He does small, short commentaries on certain things that are going on, contemporary theology issues. He's written some books as well on some contemporary theology issues. Then he's got these 4 Third Adam series documentaries out and all that. And maybe see him as the next step into our culture with like Jack Chick and his comic books were, because Smith tackles the issues of music, and he tackles the issues of contemporary theology, tackles the issues of the occultist movements that are going on in our world today. And Spencer Smith is absolutely as much a man as I am, and so I'm certain that there would be something you'd say, well, Pastor, did you know that Spencer Smith said this, or, there's probably something out there that I would say, well, let's take that with a grain of salt or there, but I would probably do that with myself as well. I do recommend Spencer Smith and his material, and want to encourage you to get a hold of. He's an independent, fundamental Bible believing Baptist missionary. Here he's stationed here in the United States, but does missionary work uh, preaches in independent Baptist churches around the country. And so I would recommend his materials, and especially his YouTube channel. I think it'd be something that could be a big help to you if you wanted to look into that. I don't know, if I can't remember if it was this week or last week that I did this. I did publish my study out of the book of Jude. It is now available on both Kindle and on paperback at Amazon. The link will be in the descriptions down below for that. And then issues of prayer. Of course, we want to continue to pray for the leaders of our world, especially we're getting ready for the elections, and we ought to be in much prayer concerning all of the major elections, elections, of course, but the major offices that are going to be dealt with, and the presidency. Also, the governorship of Washington is of a major concern to me, and I'm don't want to be fatalistic about this thing. I can't imagine that Washington State is going to vote in anybody but a liberal, and probably a liberal worse than than our current governor is. But we do have some good options out there, and just be praying for a good option and maybe an alternative, and we can see a change in direction in our government the next election season. Pray for those that are serving, both police and military, serving for our safety, both police and military. Pray especially for the salvation of souls. Every one of us ought to, on a regular basis, be on our knees at home, in our own family altars, and at that altar at the church, and begging God for souls, and then we see people saved, come to trust the Lord Jesus Christ as Savior. Pray for those who are battling cancer. Again, at this point, my wife, once the radiation is done, and I think it actually starts now, it's just a wait and see sort of a thing. The way we understand it is the chemotherapy was meant uh, to hopefully, prayerfully, kill all of the cancer stem cells that may have escaped into her body and might appear later on in her liver, lungs, or brain. And then the radiation is meant to make sure that they didn't miss something when they surgically removed the tumor and the lymph nodes. And as far as they can tell, they've already done, MRIs and so forth and all that. And as far as they can tell, the cancer is gone, but they don't know. And so the radiation is meant to kind of back that up. And so what we're hearing right now is that there is a 90% chance of no recurrence of cancer anywhere else in their body, and there is once she's done with radiation, there's a 95% chance of no recurrence of cancer in the location of the tumor. And so all of that is good, but 90, 95 sounds great. And at our age, we probably got that chance of dying anything. We got that chance of getting hit by a car. We got that chance of, tripping and breaking our neck or something like that, probably by this time in our life. But it is just a waiting game now. It's just wait and see. It either worked or it didn't work. And we won't know for some time. So we're praying for that. Be praying for us. Pray for little Chloe Rochester. I saw today that they're doing a fundraiser for her. And listen, if you've got a heart of compassion for something like that, little Chloe Rochester, the family could use. They're doing fundraising. Their family could use financial resources and financial help in order to pay for all of the ongoing costs of fighting little Chloe Rochester's cancer. She's a sweetheart, and praying for her. All right. And then I do want to ask you, if you have ever read any of my books, Amazon books, go to Amazon.com, find the link to that book, and then write a positive review. That would be real helpful to me. And I thank the Lord for all of those who have written reviews. I think that's one of those things. It's a challenge to be able to. The reviews is important in the Amazon program for making my books visible for other people to read. Reviews are very important, but reviews are also just difficult to get, not only for a Baptist pastor to books, but it sounds like it's true of anybody. Getting those reviews, getting good, solid, honest reviews is challenging. And so if you've read any of my books, boy, I would thank the Lord. I would be thankful to you if you would leave me a review. And then also, I'd like to finally remind you that I have, at this point, started I'm doing the book of Psalms in my Daily Visits with God podcast. Today, I dropped, this was episode number 500 that aired today. And so if you know someone, the book of Psalms has to do with emotions over and over and over. If you or someone you know is depressed or discouraged or disappointed or hurt or tired or afraid or any of those things, and who doesn't go through some of those things, then I want to encourage you, subscribe to the podcast, and I want to encourage you to do that, if you would, on Marvin McKenzie, one word, marvinmckenzie.substack.com. And if you'll do it there, you'll be able to leave comments and questions, and we can correspond. We can communicate back and forth as we go through the book of Psalms and the issues that have to do with emotions. All right. You're going to find a lot of links down in that description down below. Want to encourage you to take a look down there, see if there's something, one of my books or something that I've done on Teespring, some T-shirts or some hats that I've done or some cups, whatever it is that might be a blessing to you. I'm actually under my shirt right now wearing a new one that I made just recently. It just says eternity, heaven, hell, question mark. And it's just a tool to witness. And want to encourage you to take a look at some of those things. All right. God bless you. Until next time.